Hi, class. Welcome to week 8 of Principles of Coaching. Um, Hope you all are doing really well, and hope you guys got a lot out of the book report assignment from last week. But this is our last week of class. Um, all we got going on this week is discussion question 1, discussion question 2, and our final exam. Discussion question 1. You can see right here, you're going to need to read in the Bruce Brown book, Teaching Character Through Sport, read pages 84 through 89. And in those pages, he's talking about qualities of great teams. He lists 8 qualities: leadership, guiding principles, pride, communication, motivation, persistence, role players, and positive attitude. And then he goes into detail about each of those qualities over the course of those 10 pages. So I just want you to pick 2 of those and describe why they would be important to success in your sport. A couple of those that pop out to me: guiding principles. We talked about that in the early stages of this class with our coaching philosophy. You really need to have guiding principles that the coach sets the tone with at the start of the season, and your team needs to take on and follow those principles that you have in place. And then you need good leadership, and hopefully, as you are a good leader as a coach, and you set the tone, hopefully you have 2 or 3 players that are also great leaders, and hopefully they're your best players. The best teams that I've been a part of, the best players have always been the best leaders and led by example. I've been a part of teams where the best players are the worst leaders, and it's kind of a miserable season. So you want to have hopefully great leadership with your best players or athletes being able to lead the way. Let's move on to discussion question 2. In chapter 10, so you read chapter 10. In chapter 10, he's talking about positive conditioning. So this is a really interesting concept, and I had read about it before. I've never been a part of a team that's actually used it, but positive conditioning is basically creating an environment where your team gets to run as opposed to you're running your team for punishment. So positive conditioning, some of the things involved with that, you want your coaching staff being extremely positive and building up your team as they're running. And some of the things he talks about in there, if you're say you're doing a drill, and whichever team wins the drill, that team is allowed to then run and do extra conditioning. Oftentimes, if you're doing a drill in practice and you lose, you have to run as punishment. Or if your team doesn't have great energy, you have to run as punishment. This is saying the exact opposite. You get to run. If your team doesn't have good energy, then the coach is not going to allow you to run and get in better shape that day. So kind of an interesting concept. I think it's something that could be really effective if you have a team that's able to buy into that. Think about if you have a group of men or women that buys into, hey, let's work really hard so we get to condition at the end of practice. So it's something to think about. And I wanted to have you guys read over that and write a little bit about it and share your thoughts. Really, so I'd be interested to know your thoughts as well. And it's something that I think a lot about if I'm a head coach, and could I employ this type of conditioning? So look over that, and then our final exam. Our final exam is going to be over weeks 1 through 7, and I'm just going to pick some of the main principles that we talked about in those chapters. um, of the Martin's book, and so try to keep it as basic as possible. It'll obviously be open note, open book, so you guys will have time. I'll give you an hour to take the test, and it'll be 20 questions, multiple choice, true and false, and it'll be 40 points. So each question will be worth 2 points. So that's all we got going on this week. Just want to leave you with a couple thoughts. I've really enjoyed getting to teach this class, and most of you have done really well in this class, and I hope this class has been beneficial. And as you think about potentially coaching in your future, some things to take away and to always think about. Why are you coaching? That's something that every year at the end of the year, I always think, why am I coaching? Am I coaching just for wins and losses, or am I coaching because I want to invest in our players, and I want to be a light for the Lord? So really important that, so many coaches nowadays are just coaching for wins and losses and accolades, and never be a coach that is just about that. Because at the end of the day, when our time is up, all that's going to matter is our relationship with Christ, and then what did we do with how did we influence the people that God put in our lives? So as a coach, you have a tremendous opportunity to impact many. You also have an opportunity to impact many in a negative way. And unfortunately, there's a lot of coaches that are impacting many in a negative way nowadays. And the world needs Christian coaches. The world needs Christian coaches that are going to do it the right way, that are going to teach kids the right ways to play, and to play for God and not for the scoreboard. One of the most freeing things for me as a player was when I was able, and it wasn't until after I graduated college, was when I was able to start playing for God and not for my dad, or not for a coach, to make them proud or happy, or not for my teammates, or not so people watching would think I was good. So yeah, and I hope that you all, when you all are coaches, you can get your teams to play for the Lord, and just know that God wants them to give their all. We talked about that verse early on. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, is working for the Lord and not for men. And if you're doing that, and whatever you do, whether it's coaching or something else, or playing a sport, or whatever, when you're doing everything for the Lord, the results will be what they'll be, and you can know that God is proud that you gave your best effort, because that's what He desires of us. But I hope you all have a great rest of your summer. Please email me, let me know if you guys have any final thoughts or questions. But God bless you guys, and hope you have a great finish to the class, and a great rest of your summer.